What's up, everyone, and welcome to Movie Importance Flashback Reviews, where I take movies from the past, break them down, and tell you what I think about them. If you like what you see, of course, hit the subscribe button, join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next, and comment below on any video that you watch on my channel. So, with the current state of affairs going on right now, with the coronavirus and all that stuff, it's really hard to talk about new movies because there is really no new movies coming out unless you're watching like Netflix or Hulu or stuff like that. But you don't get to talk about anything in the theater because there's literally nothing coming to the theater, which kind of sucks because we like to talk about new movies because people want to know about these things. But that's also why I do my flashback review series, because it's a way of talking about films that I've either seen before and love, or movies I've never seen before that have come out within the last several years, or, decades or whatever it is. And that's what this movie I'm going to be talking about today is a movie I've never heard of before. 99% of the people have probably never heard of this before. I literally was searching through Netflix and I saw Circle, and I'm like, oh, I read the premise. I watched the little trailer clip that they show. This seemed interesting. I like movies like Cube and Time Crimes, those very low budget sci-fi horror films that, have an interesting premise, but because they're so low budget, they take place in like one room or one location. But they do the premises so well that you just really enjoy these types of films, and that is what Circle is. It came out in 2015. It debuted on Netflix. I think it was in like the Seattle International Film Festival. It's directed by Hann and Mark Miscione, and it's a movie with a very simple premise. We have probably 50 or 60 people in a room. They're literally in a circle. They're in little circles themselves. If they move out of these circles, they die. But every minute to 2 minutes, someone is killed off by whatever unseen forces, and basically doing this type of thing. It's kind of like if you look at the Belko experiment or something like that. People put in the situation will have to make tough decisions about who is going to die and who's going to live and so on and so forth until they get to the eventual last person, which makes it even more tense and more it's depressing in a lot of ways, but it's very kind of cathartic and kind of weird in its nature. And I think that's why I like this movie so much, because it's doing something with an interesting premise of classism, of racism, of what comes out of the true nature of people if they're put in a situation where they are going to most likely die. And I really kind of find that fascinating because it's a movie that, if it's not done well, if it's not scripted well, basically, because these people are in a one room, one location, they have to feed off each other. They have to have great scripted dialogue. They have to have, well versed, well rounded characters. And, if it doesn't work, it could be a terrible misfire of a movie. But out of a few missteps, out of an ending I don't really care for that much because it goes into places that are really dark and really uncomfortable, which is what its nature of trying to do. This movie it's a home run for me. It's a movie that I really, really enjoy. Will probably recommend to a lot of people because it does a lot of interesting things. There are people in this movie that are awful people. There are people in this movie that are great people. There are people in this movie that are in the middle of the road people. There are people that are like you and me. Everybody in this movie is signifying somebody that you may know or of yourself. And it's really interesting to see when these people who go about their daily business don't really know each other. Some people do know each other. They are, when they're put in this situation where they're most likely going to die, it shows the true colors of the human condition. And I really enjoyed that about this movie. It's very bold in what it's trying to do and what it's trying to say. And I don't know. I found that fascinating. I was riveted for the hour and 26 minutes I was watching this movie. And even though this movie is 5 years old, I don't even want to give away like who dies and who lives, because it has a very interesting way it's trying to go about getting rid of each and every person. The person you might think will live may not end up living at the end of this movie. You don't know. And the fascinating part is trying to get down to a single person. And how do you do that with so many people? It's just, I really enjoyed this movie. I really thought it was fascinating. It's funny too because there's literally like one person I recognize in this movie because they're all unknown actors, at least for the most part. Some of the actors have been in movies I've never heard of before. But Julia Benz, who was in Dexter, as Dexter's wife, the woman that ends up dying in the fourth season. She has a very interesting arc into this movie, and there's a lot of characters that have interesting arcs and a lot of characters that sacrifice themselves in interesting ways. And then when you finally get to like certain characters who are the more alpha type characters, how they are, kind of toning down or taking down the people to save themselves shows the cowardice nature of what an alpha can be if it's put into a corner. And that's another thing. You see people that you wouldn't ever think be alphas or betas or zetas or whatever. You don't ever think of people, that would want to protect themselves. And then you see people that you would think that would be like the last person to want to die ends up sacrificing themselves. And it's really fascinating. It's really kind of interesting, like I said, because you get a lot of characters in this movie because they do all spectrums of the human, psyche or whatever, the human person, and they just throw them into a packed house, a pack of wolves, and let the game play out. It's kind of like if you had three characters go into the woods and make crazy noises, and there's a witch or something like that, Blair Witch Project. But I think Aaron Hann and Mark Miscione did a really nice job with this movie. I think they hit a home run that I don't think they realized they were hitting. Like I said, there are moments where some of the characters are a little too cliched, a little too over the top. Some of the decisions they are making are a little goofy in a lot of ways. The eventual conclusion, like I said, is I almost saw it coming, but they make you think it's another way. They make you think it's the typical, ideological way. But the way it ends up going, the way it plays out, I think is a little over the top, I guess you could say. So, but otherwise, Circle, I think, is a good time. It will make you uncomfortable because it's dealing with a very dark subject matter of people dying and people, using their whatever their beliefs are, whatever their ideologies are, to go against and try and save themselves, which is what we would do in a situation. And it's kind of relevant and kind of pertinent to our current situation, which is, people are dying. Do you make that decision on who lives and who dies? It's a really depressing thing to think about, but as a movie goes along, as a movie that is pure entertainment, and a movie that's as low budget as this movie is, I think it really works. So definitely check it out if you're really in the mood for these types of films. Like I said, it's very much in the vein of like a Belko experiment or a Cube, where people had to make tough decisions. People had to make those decisions that people don't want to make. And yeah, Circle is definitely one I recommend, and it's on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, definitely check it out if you have the time or the stomach for it. So, but anyways, that's it. That's my take on Circle. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen Circle. Let me know what you think of it. Do you like it? Do you not like it? If you've ever heard of it, if you're not, I'm pretty sure you haven't. Anyways, hit that subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next, and comment below on any video that you watch on my channel. Otherwise, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for checking out Movie Emporium. I really appreciate it. If you want to, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification button and the bell at the top. Find out what's coming next for Movie Emporium. Also, check out these two videos. They're amazing. I think they're awesome. I think you'll enjoy them too. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.